All right, you've seen this before. You've probably seen it on several different occasions. Algebra 1, Algebra 2 for sure. You might have even done a little bit of this in geometry, maybe not that much, but a little bit. But we're going to do it today. Even if you didn't have it before, now you're going to see it for the first time. In fact, this right here is just another way of thinking about distributive property. So the FOIL method is the distributive property. But it just, I don't know, some people like it. You know, everybody likes like the add a line, change the sign thing, right? My dear Aunt Sally. Everybody likes that kind of stuff, right? Little ways to remember things. Well, FOIL is another way to remember something, but it's basically just a distributive property. We actually did problems like this, probably the last lesson that we taught on the Part A part. We actually did this when we multiplied two binomials. Is that in your notes? I think it is. When we multiply two binomials, that's basically where you use the FOIL method. All right, so let me start you off with a real easy one. I'll just make this up. This is not even in my notes. Would you agree that's two binomials? Yep. All right, that's one term, that's another term, and here's a second. That's one binomial, here's a second binomial. Do you remember what the distributive property did here? We took that first one, and then we multiplied it by both of the things in the other parentheses. So let me get that door, please. Okay, so we took that first one, and we multiplied by everything in that second parentheses. Then we took the second one, right, the 2, and we multiplied it by everything in the parentheses. Yeah, so that was distributive property. So really, the term FOIL is just a quick and easy way to kind of remember how to multiply. But if you just remember distributive property as this, that's basically the same thing as FOIL method. It's really nothing different, right? It's just a thing that math teacher used. And in fact, if I remember right, way back in the day when I was teaching math, none of the book, I shouldn't say none, but at least I don't remember the books actually teaching the word FOIL. That was something that teachers just kind of came up with, right? I mean, I learned it. I learned it in high school. I learned it in college. Teachers back then, right, in the 70s and 80s, were teaching FOIL method. Yeah, way back then. And but I don't ever recall it actually being like the name of a lesson in the book or anything like that. But now it's so popular, I guess, that they do call it that. So why FOIL? What is the deal with those 4 letters? Well, right, this is the first. This is the outside. A lot of books say outer. I don't know. I've always learned outside, right? Outer, inner, but I just say outside, inside, and then last. And what does that mean? That means this is the order that you multiply things. That's all that is. That's what the word FOIL is telling you. It's just saying, what order are you multiplying? What does that mean by the first? This is the first letter in that parentheses, and that's the first letter in that parentheses. Do you see that? So you multiply those first. Okay, that's your first. Does that make sense why it's called first? What about outside? Which ones are the ones on the outside? Well, this one and this one are on the outside of the whole thing. Would you agree? Yeah. So that's why you multiply those together. But it's still the same order that we do that distributive property, isn't it? Yep. What's the inner or the inside? These are the 2 that are in the inside, so you multiply those together. And then the last would be the 2 last terms. This is the last term on that parentheses, that's the last term on that parentheses, so we multiply those together. But notice, those arrows are doing the same exact thing that FOIL did, aren't they? Yeah, so really, if you understand distributive property, FOIL method is just a way to do a specific type of problem. You do so many of these type of problems, they gave it a special name by FOIL. All right, this is just an ordinary distributive property, but we multiply 2 binomials together quite a bit in high school math. So they gave it its own name. They call it FOIL. All right, so let's actually do the math here. Let's multiply the first two together. It'd be x times x. Now I'm not going to write down x times x. I should be able to do this, parts of this, in my head. So what is x times x? X squared. So the first step I'm going to do is write x squared. Now let's do the outside. Which ones are on the outside? The x and the 3. So I multiply x times 3, but I don't write it x3. How would I write that? 3x. And they're both positive, so I write plus. Make sure you put the signs in between. Don't just put an x squared, leave a blank, and then put 3x. You got to have either a plus or a minus. Everything in here is positive already, so everything down here is going to be plus. Okay? What's the next one we do? The inside ones. Which are the inside ones? These two right here. How do I multiply those? Just 2 times x. And it's positive. It's a positive 2x, so I put a plus. And then the last two terms, the terms I haven't multiplied yet together. 2 times 3, I can do that in my head. What's 2 times 3? That's 6, so I put plus 6. Do I circle that? Am I finished? No, what did we just finish going over? We went over a worksheet where we had to add like terms, right? So I have to add these like terms together. If you write your answer like this, I will mark it wrong because you are required to add your like terms together. So make sure that you do that. So I've got x squared plus what? What's 3x plus 2x? It's 5x. And then plus 6. And that is your answer to this. And we kind of did it by FOIL method. But again, did you really even have to know the word FOIL to do this? No, you just know that you took the first one, you distributed it by both of these. You took the second one, you distributed it by both of those. And then you add the like terms together, and then you're done. So you didn't really have to know FOIL. I will in a little bit. Yeah, I forgot about that, but I'll collect them after I'm done teaching this. All right, let's do another one. No, we're doing these problems for homework. All right, I give you 5 examples. Oh, this is over at 12:15, isn't it? Wow. Okay, I'll just do like 2 examples. Let's do this one first. Because really, what I taught you is good enough for what you have to do on your homework. All right, here we go. First outside, inside, last, right? So the first one's x times x is x squared. Outside, it's positive x, positive 3, plus 3x. Inside, now watch carefully. It's a negative 3 times a positive x. What's negative 3 times positive x? Negative 3x. Let's do the last. It's negative 3 times positive 3. What's negative times a positive? Negative 3 times 3 is 9. Do I circle that? No. Add like terms. Here's your like terms. I've got x squared. These add up to what? 0. 3x minus 3x is 0. I don't have to write that down, right? It's just 0x or 0. So I just write down the rest of it, minus 9, and there you go. Let's do another one. Last one. This time I'm going to put a number in front of the x. Make it a little bit tougher for you. Okay? First, outside, inside, last. The bell might ring halfway through this, but just hang on till we finish. It won't take long. All right, first, 2x times 3x. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. That's right. Don't forget that x squared. Outside, 2x times 4. It's positive. 2 times 4 is 8x. That time it's not squared because that just is a 4. It doesn't have an x with it. Inside, these two right here. Positive 1 times 3x is plus 3x. And then the last, positive 1 times positive 4 is plus 4. Add like terms. Do I have any like terms? Sure, I got those two right there. So I just write down 6x squared. 8x plus 3x is plus 11x, and then plus 4, and then you're good to go. Let's do one more real quick. Sorry, I know I lied. Let's do this super fast. What if I had something like this? Everybody watch. What do I do when I square something? I multiply it by itself. So watch very carefully. Okay, this is super important. When you have something like this, don't just square the x and square the 3. You can't do that. When you square something, you multiply it by what? Itself. So we rewrite it x minus 3. That's really, really important. Let's do the math real quick. Hold on. X squared. Then outside is negative 3x. Inside is negative 3x. And then the last is positive 9. So I've got negative 3x minus 3x is negative 6x plus 9. And that is how you do that. That gets people mixed up. So make sure you understand that. Go watch the video. Here's your homework. Section R-4, call it B. And it's page 48.
Would the fine citizens please come to the office? Blake Jones.
And you are doing
Sanaya Wise.
47 to 61.
David Gullich.
You're only doing the odds.
Ed Mira.
There you go. Now you can go.